Welcome to this reprogramming your mind session. So the first question I want to ask you is, why do you have to reprogram your mind? So if you remember the session which we did on influence of environment, so you will realize that right from our childhood, we were programmed in a certain way by the environment, by the people in the environment. And this program limits us from achieving whatever we want to achieve. Visualization is a very powerful technique which helps you reprogram your mind. So let's get into the world of visualization. So let's understand and master the power of visualization. So as usual, let's look at the blueprint of a workshop and see where we are today. So we are at reprogramming our mind, the visualization techniques, okay? So let's look at the intention of the session. The intention is to master the art of reprogramming your mind using visualization technique. So let's begin with a question. And the question is, what is mind? Because we keep hearing people telling this so many times, my mind is full of stress, my mind is like tensed and all that. But the question is, what is mind? I would like to share some of the answers which I have been getting in the past. So there are some participants who said mind is limitless consciousness. Okay. Some said mind is something which drives our life. Someone said mind is an immaterial component of the living beings. Like I said, nothing right, nothing wrong about any of these answers. But I am going to give you my perspective. Okay. So your mind is your brain in action. So when your brain is in action, it is called as mind. Okay. So the next question I want to ask you is, what is brain? Right? So I'm not going to wait for any scientific answers. I'm going to give you my version of it. Okay. Your brain is nothing but a record of the past. So anything which has happened till now in your life is recorded, and that is called as brain. So consider your brain, just look at your brain like a storage cabinet, like something like this which you see on the screen right now, right? And consider this filing cabinet has various sections pertaining to various areas of your life, like health, finance, relationship, business, personal development, entertainment. Of course, your life will have many more areas, but I am just taking the above for the sake of example. Okay? Each of this folder has a file about your experience in that area of your life. So, for example, if you have failed in business, then there will be a file in the business folder which has a record about this failure. The same applies to your record about success also. Similarly, if you have failed in any relationship, there will be a record of the same in your relationship folder. So now let's see how this drives your life. Let's suppose you get a thought to venture into a new business, right? Since your mind is brain in action, the mind sends a thought to the brain. Okay, because it is brain in action. So the mind sends a thought to the brain. The brain will open the folder. Now imagine the brain doing this, just opening the folder about business. It will find a folder about failure. It will immediately send a message to the mind, don't take the risk. You will change your thought and decide to not venture into that business. Did you get it? Right? I'll give you another example. Let's look at this like you're about to get into a new relationship. Okay? Since your mind is brain in action, again we'll go through the same process. The mind sends the thought to the brain about getting into a new relationship. The brain opens a folder for relationship now. Okay? It will find a folder for failed relationship from the past. It will immediately send a message to the mind. This relationship will not work for you. You will change your thought and decide to not get into that relationship. Right? This is exactly what happens to all these patients who undergo trauma. when there is a case of sexual abuse, guess what happens? So when a child is sexually abused, there is a folder created in his brain for sexual abuse in the relationship area. So as he goes forward in life, whenever he has to get into any relationship or he just has to get along with certain people, the brain opens this folder and reminds him about the sexual abuse and tells him, don't mix with people, don't stay with people, don't talk to people. So what happens is, he is not able to get out of the trauma. Okay? Because every time it refers to the folder. Every time you get a new thought of doing something new, it refers to the folder. Right? So let's see how this works with your goal. Suppose you have a goal to run a marathon this year. Since your mind is brain in action. I'm saying this again and again because I want you to get it. Okay, so I'm repeating myself just for the sake that you get it. The mind sends a thought to the brain. The brain will open the folder of fitness. Like in this case, we have a health folder. So it will open the folder of fitness, right? Suppose you have not been an active person and you don't do any physical activity. The brain will not find any folder about any experience with running. It will immediately send a message to the mind. Marathon is not for you. I'm just making up these messages, but it will be something on those lines. You will immediately change your thought and not start the activity. Or if you have started, you might quit. This is where visualization comes in. When you visualize your goals, a folder is created in your brain. Because your brain cannot make out if it has really happened or if you are imagining it. Now this is a science I was talking about in the beginning. Like I said, it is science which can create magic in your life. So this is a science. Your brain cannot make out whatever you're imagining is real or imaginary. For example, imagine you're sitting in a house, right? And you think about a ghost. You're just thinking about a ghost. But the brain thinks that it is real. You're thinking, actually seeing a ghost. So it releases that kind of hormones in your body and your body starts sweating. You start responding to the thought of a ghost. Because it can't make out whether you're imagining or if you're really seeing a ghost. This is how the visualization can help you. However, it is very important that you include the following in your visualization process. So when you visualize about any goal or any dream, right? It is very important you involve these 4 parameters, right? The first one is visualizing, seeing the goal. So you should see the future in a way it will be after you achieve it. So like if your dream is about running a marathon, you should see it like you're finishing the race, you're sweating, and maybe there are aches in your body or whatever. You should see yourself crossing the finish line. That is the kind of vision you should have. That is how you should see it. You should see people cheering for you. You should see large crowds of people out there. You should feel it. Right? You should experience that feeling. Like you will be feeling aches in your body, pains in your body after doing a marathon. So feel that, like how it would feel. How do you feel people cheering for you? You feel that sense of gratitude towards them. You feel pride. You feel happy about it, right? Experience that feeling. Hear the clap of the people. Hear about the congratulatory messages from your wife, your children, your parents and your friends. They all telling you, wow, you did it, man. Hear all that, right? When you visualize. And finally, if there is something where you can smell it, something in that, like there's some aroma around, smell it also, right? So like suppose you have a goal of becoming the best chef. When you become the best chef, what will happen? You create some dish and there is an aroma which comes from that dish, right? So you got to experience that also. That is, this four parameters builds up the visualization process. And it is very important that you don't miss any of it. I'll give you a classic example. When you see an advertisement on TV, right? Okay. So suppose it is an advertisement of a toothpaste, right? Now see how they create a visualization for you, right? First they show you that somebody is having a toothache, right? So they show, they show their emotions, their feelings, the sound. They show the sound also, right? And after that, they show that person using a toothpaste, maybe a herbal toothpaste or whatever, right? And after that, they show another scene where they show the same character, very happy, relieved. He has a feeling of relief. you see a smile on his face, right? And you hear him telling others that, oh, this was the best toothpaste which I could ever use, right? They use all these 4 parameters to create a visualization so that it reprograms your mind and you buy that toothpaste tomorrow. Because if you want that kind of feeling, that kind of experience, then you have to buy this toothpaste. That is exactly what they're creating. That is why I said visualization is a science. Because there are guys who script these advertisements with a lot of professionalism and they're absolute brilliant content writers. Okay? So it's like a painter. Like, when the painter visualizes a painting, what does he do? He imagines a picture, how it is going to be, how the hair is going to be, what are the feelings in the eyes, right? Okay, what kind of colors am I going to use to make it look good, right? So imagine if he starts painting something without any visualization, what would happen? Okay, hope you're getting me, right? I'm going to show you a short video of Jim Carrey, the Hollywood superstar. In this interview, he tells how the power of visualization helped him. He in fact wrote down a check for himself and kept it in his purse, right? And he did various other techniques. And when you see this interview, you'll realize the power of visualization.
Teachers. Okay. Obviously you knew somewhere inside yourself that you were destined to be famous, because I think it's really a marvelous thing, that visualization thing you did. Do y'all read about this or hear this? That you used to go up on Mulholland Drive and park
every night
and visualize seeing yourself as...
Yeah, I would visualize,
This is when you were broke and poor.
Right, having directors interested in me and people that I respected saying, I like your work, or whatever that is, and I would visualize things coming to me that I wanted or whatever.
This was in like 1987, 85?
Yeah. And I had nothing at that time, so it was like, but it just made me feel better. It made me, at that time, all it really was for me was kind of making me feel better. I would drive home and think, well, I do have these things, and they're out there. I just don't have a hold of them yet, but they're out there.
Okay, so you would get this from what, self-help books or whatever?
Yeah, self-help section.
Self-help section.
They've renamed it the Jim Carrey wing.
So didn't you write yourself a check? I heard that you did. Is that true?
I wrote myself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and I gave myself 5 years, or 3 years maybe, and I dated it Thanksgiving 1995. And I put it in my wallet, and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff. But then, just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to make $10 million on, I think it was Dumb and Dumber, maybe.
Dumb and Dumber, yeah.
Yeah.
So you visualize yourself like...
Weird, yeah.
Visualization works if you work hard.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. You can't just visualize and then, go eat a sandwich.
I love that. That was such a powerful moment for me, because I was not a person who did visualization or thought about my belief system in such a practical way. But I learned a lot from Jim Carrey on that show, and he is absolutely correct. If you can see it and believe it, it is a lot easier to achieve it. So thank you, Jim, for reminding us of that lesson. And it doesn't mean that for every person that writes the $10 million check that that's gonna happen for you, because so many times people who do that process live in the space of wanting and resisting it instead of writing it, visualizing it, seeing it for yourself, and then letting it go. Letting it go, but moving in the direction of working toward it. So nothing happens at first. It's over the process of the time and the effort and the energy that you put into a thing that the energy comes out.
I hope you enjoyed Jim Carrey's interview and you also realize the power of visualization. So visualization is like creating a blueprint of your journey towards your goal. and also creating the experience of how you will feel after you achieve that goal. Our team at Rich Mind Center of Excellence have put together the visualization exercise which will help you to reprogram your mind so that you achieve the results you desire in all areas of your life. In the next section, we will understand the goal setting process, and immediately after that section, we will do the visualization exercise meditation, which we have specially designed for this workshop. Trust me, you will love this visualization exercise because it will take you on a journey of fulfillment.